everybody, welcome to the live video. Not a lot of people here yet, obviously, but I think I will probably just go ahead and get into it because that's what I tend to do most times. Otherwise, we're just gonna hang out here in some weird, awkward silence. Or I'll pull out my guitar and play it for you all or something, but I'm too shy to do that, so never mind. So, it is now week 3 of, week 3 has finished of NaNoWriMo. And, yeah, this last week was probably the most difficult, in my opinion. You think the more time that you spend, the easier it would get, but no. Last week proved to be kind of a poop show. I did have to run a Pathfinder game, and hi Elizabeth, hi Liz, love you, hi Ben, hello. Last week I had to run a Pathfinder game, and I also forgot that I was playing in a Pathfinder game, so that kind of took up a lot of my time, time that I could have spent writing. I've also been kind of sick, and that hasn't helped a whole lot. I've just been very, very low energy, just trying to sleep in and take care of myself more than anything else. So that's made it incredibly hard. My current word count is 36,416, and if any of you are doing NaNoWriMo, at least on the website, you will know that I am behind, because I'm supposed to be at 40,000 and something words today, and I am not there. Perhaps tonight while I'm writing I might get there, but I highly doubt it. And I doubt it for a couple of reasons. One, because I spent the majority of the last book that I was writing building up a lot of tension, and I ended up releasing a lot of that tension in the first 6 chapters of the book. So now I am kind of just in this standstill period of trying to build up the world again. Right now I'm trying to show what, like, the normal people in the world do, the people who are, like, outside of the main characters. So it's been a little tedious because I know that this is writing that needs to be done, but I have all these plot points that are outlined in my outline, and Danica just wants to get into the meat and potatoes of the thing, but I know that I need to eat all of my carrots and peas first before I can have dessert. So that was a horrible analogy. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but yeah, so right now I'm just doing a lot of the tedious, busy work in between, trying to make sure that my world has more establishment in it before I continue writing more of the more important plot points. I will have 50,000 words by the end of this. I tend, especially when I'm under pressure, I can write really fast, and I kind of excel at working in that way where I'm like, oh crap, this painting's due tomorrow, well, better get it all done tonight. So I know that I'm probably going to get that last burst of energy coming into this last and final week. Next week is Thanksgiving, but unfortunately I will not be able to get out of town and go home, so I probably will be spending a lot of that time off just writing, even though I have the same amount of days off as I normally do, so, because I have to work on Sunday, which is fine. But, yeah, we are almost there. We've got about 6 more days left to go. I also find that I write best when it's really late at night, and that just doesn't really help when I have to get up at like 6:30 in the morning to go to work. So I'm trying to still balance the work-life, home, creative flow. It's been a bit of a challenge there. Overall, I think in terms of NaNoWriMo, I think that I would suggest that everyone tries it once. I wouldn't say that it is a make it or break it type thing. I think that it's just a good experience for people to have, where you give yourself these pretty strict, because the thing is that it's really easy to write 2,000 words in a single day. That comes out to roughly about 6 typed pages, at least in the way that I type the pages out, double spaced. But I've written easily 20 pages, sometimes 25 pages in a single day in one sitting. So it's not that that is the difficult part. I think that my brain and my creativity, like the part of me that makes me creative, is starting to get a little burnt out from just the continuous motion. It's becoming a lot less of being inspired and a lot more of going through the motions and getting it done, which is not ideal. I would prefer to feel, my whole self when I'm working, and I'm sure last week was probably just a bit of a fluke because, like I said, I wasn't feeling super good. And I have a lot of faith coming into this next week because I don't have any obligations like running a Pathfinder game or anything like that. So, yeah, other than that, I think this is more or less just a very quick check-in. I want to know what you guys think of NaNoWriMo yourselves. Have you ever participated in NaNoWriMo? Have you thought about participating in NaNoWriMo? And if you have, what are some of the things that have stopped you from participating if you didn't actually participate? Because I have a lot of friends who said, oh, I thought about doing that, or I started doing it but then I gave up partway through because life happens. I just am curious to see how you guys feel about it. Like I said, my first book was, is about 80,000 words, and that took me about a year, notwithstanding the whole having to plan everything aspect of it. I think that actually took a lot more time than it would have just taken to just sit down and write it. But I wanted to make sure that the story itself actually made sense, especially in the long run. Wow, I can't talk anymore. Because when you're writing a series, I don't think you should just be writing for the sake of writing. I think that you should be writing in order to tell a big, grand overall story. Some personal suggestions that I think that I would throw out there if I was, giving anyone advice, which I probably shouldn't because, I'm kind of just some schmo off the street. But the schmo has something to say, and the schmo says, one, and I've said this multiple times, having an outline is a very good idea. Not only does it help kind of get through writer's block, it also helps to just keep you on track and keep you on focus. I know that a lot of people aren't that type of person, and I started off not being that type of person, but in order for this story to make sense overall, I had to become that type of person because I needed to know where all my threads were going. So, that being said, another thing that I would suggest is try to get some words done every day. It doesn't matter if it's 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 words, or if it's 500 words or 200 words even. As long as you are doing some words per day, it'll be enough to keep you on track. It'll be enough to keep you in the habit of making sure you write every single day. That was part of why I had issues with Inktober in the past, is because drawing and ink drawing, especially if you're an artist in any capacity, drawing and ink drawing is super easy. You do it when you're sitting there, you do it when you're bored, you do it when you're just hanging out, you do it when you're in class, not a big deal. You get to, I want to draw for Inktober. So you start obligating yourself to making an ink drawing every single day. And suddenly it becomes a lot more challenging. And it's partially because we are putting that expectation on ourselves to do something every day, which is healthy and unhealthy in some ways because you're busy and you have other obligations. It just makes it so much harder. So that's part of why I personally failed with Inktober, is because I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna have an hour to kill every single day to make an ink drawing, and didn't do so hot with that. So writing is a little bit more flexible because I found, like, even when I'm on the bus to work in the morning, I can still type out a bunch of words on my phone, and when I get home I can just retype them out or copy and paste them out and do it once. Sound like total crap. So yeah, I just think just stick with it. Write a little bit every single day. If you started Inktober, or not Inktober, sorry, NaNoWriMo, and you decided 50,000 words, I'm going to do 20 words or 100,000 words, and you stick with like a certain amount of words, like, oh, instead of doing around like 16 words a day, I'm going to just do 500 words every day. Working with the idea, I'm only shooting for 50,000 words because I know I can do it. And good, 10,000 words away, I still think that I am going to be able to do it by the end of this. Or if I'm not able to do it by the very end of this, I will at least have it done by like December 1st or December 2nd. So I'm not crazy worried after this, which is very, very nerve-wracking because I'm editing it myself, and I just hope that I don't mess it up too badly. But yeah, I want to be able to get that finished so that I can finally. Okay, I just realized that I was not connected to the internet with my phone. That was really, really dumb. Yeah, that probably would have helped. I mean, I was on my wireless internet, but in this part of town it really sucks. So hopefully this isn't totally terrible to watch. Either way, yes, so final edits will be in the process. If I need to reach out to someone having too much troubles, I will probably do that. But I think at this point in time, it will probably be okay. So, it's also something that I think is a good thing for me to learn, is to make sure I know how to edit, because I don't know, I think that's an important part of the process, at least for the first or second book. You should at least be able to know how to do that. So, and I'm like mildly dyslexic, so if I can do it, maybe anybody else can, right? I don't know. I'm definitely gonna have somebody check it over before I finish it up anyway. But, yeah, that's kind of my plans. That's kind of my trajectory. Once I get the final edit done, I will probably get back to writing the second book at a reasonable pace. But for now, I'm just going to keep plugging away at it and hoping that it isn't total garbage. But yeah, one more week to go. And once this next week is done, I will do a final take on what I think worked and what did not work. I'll probably give myself an outline because I know I kind of just ramble at you guys and that's not really fair. But I will probably tell you all what worked, what didn't work, what I would suggest, what I think of NaNoWriMo, whether or not I would do NaNoWriMo again. I'm still not sure at this point. I personally have really, really liked it. I just wish that I would have had a little bit more time to do it. Oh, I forgot my final suggestion. So my final suggestion would be, if you are comfortable with it, which it's very difficult to be comfortable with it because I think a lot of us like to work in our own little bubble and we don't really like to let other people into our space, but having somebody to talk to about your writing, maybe having someone you very, very, very much trust to know the entirety of the story is a good idea. For me, that person is Cooper. He knows everything about my book. He and I have talked at length about different plot points. He's helped me to organize like how events are going to play out, without telling me what to do with my book. That's the most important thing. Like, I'm glad that he hasn't been like, oh, I think that this should happen. He just says, oh, I think that it's really cool that you have the character progressing in this way, and I'm excited to see when X, Y, and Z happens, but it's good to have somebody to talk to. I've sat down with coffee with a few other people talking about it, and of course, my friend Logan, who I'm doing this with, he's the person that kind of was the one who was like, hey, do you want to do NaNoWriMo with me? He has also helped me quite a bit with that. We've been checking in with each other every single day, being like, hey, how's your writing going? And at the very end of this, we're actually swapping our work. So it's kind of that same philosophy of, oh, let's have a gym buddy to go to the gym with, because if you have somebody you go with, there's someone that you're obligated to go to the gym with, like, you're more likely to go to the gym because you feel a sense of obligation, you feel a sense of you don't want to let that other person down. I think that's a good thing to have too. We've both been pretty lenient on each other, being like, oh, I know you have life going on, so I'm not going to be like, hey, don't forget to write your words, or hey, if you don't write your words, then you suck. But yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say today. I just feel bad because I was so on top of things, and I actually have my chart here, which I can probably show you guys. Let's turn this around. So yeah, as you can see, I was here, my progression went up, and then I kind of was a little bit below for 2 days-ish, and then I got really, really, like, above the curve, and then I kind of stayed neutral for a while, and then I kind of, like I said last week, kind of dropped the ball. This is today, so that bar is going to go up, hopefully. Probably not to that 40,000, but I would like it to go to that 40,000 if I can help it, but, you know, it is what it is. If not, the book will get done, and then the second book will get done, and then the third book will get done, and then I will have an entire series on my hands, and people will read it, and it'll be lots of fun, and people will want to talk to me about it, which is, or maybe not, I don't know. Either way, thanks to everyone who popped in and said hello and was watching. I hope you all have had a fantastic weekend, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful entire next week. I'll check in with you guys in about a week to let you know how everything went. And wish me luck, send me good vibes, pray for me, whatever you want to do, I don't know. Hate me, I don't care. Anyway, bye guys.